Road to Success is brought to you by Equity Bank.
Equity Bank. You are listening, caring partner.
You're watching Road to Success, the key to your next level in business. You're watching Road to Success, the key to your next level in business. Our special guest is Daniel Mungai. Chef Daniel Mungai, because you've said you've earned that title.
It's Emma Daniel Creation.
A job or a career or a talent that you did not know that you had.
For me, it's a love that you just find by default.
What is Emma Daniel Creation about?
Emma Daniel Creations is a group of many other company or businesses. The original being cakes. That's how Emma Daniel Creation started. We started by doing cakes. From there, we've grown to a school which produces some of the finest chefs in the country, as most five-star hotels can confirm. The school is called Emma Daniel Arts Training Institute, a school that has been credited by the government. Then we have a recording or a production house.
And this is where we are right now.
Yes, this is just part of it. It's called Emma Daniel Records. We also have Emma Daniel Driving School, which of course introduces you to the road in style.
Wow.
Then we have a restaurant in Kamkunji Trade Center, and over and above that, there's so many other things that we do.
That is amazing that you have done all these things and you continue to grow and develop and start other companies, basically making you a serial entrepreneur.
Yes.
However, you make it sound so easy, but your journey did not start where you are. You started off as an accountant.
Yes, I started off as an accountant. And believe me, Catherine, it's not easy to be where I am today. Of course, I haven't reached where I want to be, but I'm certainly not where I started. I'm still on the move. It is so challenging, but so far it has worked for me because of the commitment that I've put in this, the passion and the love that I've put in it.
How did you move from being an accountant to owning these very many companies, and especially in cakes?
It's a really long story, but I'll just give you a brief. What happened is when I cleared school, fourth form, my original desire and dream was to become a musician. That's all I wanted to be. But those are the days again when you said you wanted to become a musician, your dad was so annoyed, because it was associated with all the wrong things in the world. I remember when I was in school, I used to tell my dad, I want to become a doctor. Was I clever enough, sharp enough to get the scores to become a doctor? Of course not. But to just keep my dad off, to put him off. So he asked, what do you want to become? So me, I tell him very quickly, I want to become an accountant.
Why
did I even know what they do? So, if I cannot be a musician, at least let me be something decent.
That looks good.
That just looks good. So the following day, I'm taken to Technical Institute. Because those days, entering colleges was not very hard.
It's true.
And it's surprising, Catherine, how people are so good in things they don't like. Actually, I was just passing my exams.
You were doing very well
I was
in
doing
accounting.
very well. Yes.
Then after that, you did get a job, a good job.
Yes, I got a job and I got it myself in town. But it was too mechanical. I was not cut for that. I'm an artist. That's what I was cut for. So I did that for some time. And I remember every evening when I'm going back home, I could hang in my auntie's matatu. It was called Wanjeri then, the matatu, yeah? And I could stay at the door. That way I didn't pay fare. That's how I ended up becoming a tout, until an incident happened in Githurai 44 where I was really beaten by some guys who'd been sent to kill the driver of a certain matatu and the makanga because of something they had done previously. So that's how another person came, a tour driver, to just cut a long story short. He drove me, we went to Amboseli National Park.
On that same night?
Same day. It was around 4. I went because he was saving me. He asked, just get here. He opened the door. He saw the whole thing. So he asked me, why do I drop you? I told him, where are you going? Because I didn't know what these people were beating me for. So he says, I'm going to Amboseli. I told him, let's go. So when we reached Amboseli, he tells the manager, I have a friend here and he's looking for a job. I wasn't looking for a job. Wow. That's how God works.
When you got to Amboseli, this gentleman says, you're looking for a job, which
yes,
you are not looking at that
course.
point. But then, so they employed you.
So the manager asked, what can you do? So I could not tell him, I told him I've done accounts, which is true. Yeah. So I'm told to go to the driver's quarter with that driver. Then the following day, I'm taken to the accounts. I was smoking cigarettes. They didn't allow people to smoke.
Which you didn't know?
In guest areas. Yeah, I didn't know. So I was found smoking in a guest area. So I'm taken in the kitchen for a punishment. He called the assistant. Otieno, come here. Pea huyu overall. Endo kaoshe vyombo. You see, surprisingly, he did not ask me whether he assumed that I had been brought in the kitchen to work in the kitchen. Not a punishment. The following day I come in the morning and the same chef calls Otieno and he tells him, Otieno, I want this guy to start training to cook. God's favor.
Mm-hmm. And so that's how your journey began.
As a chef.
From punishment because of smoking.
Smoking.
Yeah. You get into the kitchen, you decide this is now what you want to do for the rest of your life. That's
how my career in the kitchen started. Because after that day, 3 weeks later, some letters came from Mutali for refresher course. Guess who we speaked?
You are.
Then I worked in that place for 5 years. Then from there, I came to Nairobi where I went to the Norfolk Hotel for further training. Yes. Then I went to the Green Corner. I'm part of the people who reopened the Stanley Hotel. Then I went back to Norfolk, which I worked for, I think, 2 months. Then I decided enough is enough. Nitakuwa squatter kwa mabiashara za watu mpaka lini. That's how I started, without anything. Yes. I started na jiko ya mchangarawe. You know mchangarawe? Yeah. You know that oven that you make with sand soil, a big sufuria, you heat with jiko, then you put cake inside. And I'm telling you, watch as ziungue. I learned, baptism by fire.
Yes.
That's how I've trained. Because I didn't know about cakes.
What was that like, the transition from working at 5-star hotels to come and start your own?
You see, I was young. So for me, it was tough. Because I did not know cakes. But I decided the only way I can beat these people is by doing something they don't do in their hotels. I started even training myself to draw on the cakes. I'm the first Kenyan to start drawing on cakes. I started even taking orders from the church, and you tell people I'm very good at doing cakes. Wapi. You charge them 5,000 shillings for a 5-tier cake. Wow. And then they all sink. Because before you train yourself how to use that jiko. Yes. It's tricky. And you see, with the jiko, unlike the ovens now that I have in my kitchen, big ovens where you can put 100 cakes. Yes. That one you can only put 1 cake at a time. But eventually, I went on like that, and I remember I moved out of the house because as I learned, I became very good. When I started drawing cartoons, everybody wanted to see my cakes. And you see, the good thing about cakes is networking. Yes. Like if I do a cake for your child, and you have invited some people, they'll all want to come. So I networked and got a lot of clients. Imagine from my home, even Mercedes-Benz used to park. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter where you put your business. As long as you have what people want, they will come. Unity cake that I did that was cut by, among others, the president, Raila, who was the prime minister, Ruto, the deputy president. I did it from home. That elevated me, and because from there I've done other very big functions. I've done the presidential debate. Most TV shows that you watch, I'm the chef behind, which have also boosted my image. Daniel, you must take a break, but when we come back, we want to know what sets you apart. You're watching Road to Success, the key to your next level in business. Don't go away.
You're watching Road to Success, the key to your next level in business. Our guest is Chef Daniel Mongai. I can never forget to say chef because you
Yes.
say that you have earned it.
You know, to become a chef is like becoming a general in the armed forces. It takes years.
But what is amazing is you did not study this.
It's talent. And like I told you, I even never planned about becoming this. I told you I was thrown in the kitchen as a punishment.
Yes.
Just like the way Moses was thrown in the river, then ended up landing in the palace, for God to use him 40 years or many years later to rescue the people of Israel from Egypt. That's what has happened to me. Looking back at it, yes, I may not have gone to school, but I've been in the industry and I've seen. So that combined with the talent that I have has given birth to what you see here.
How did you make your name?
When I started doing this, I opened a shop. I moved from the house and I opened a Mabati shop in Kahawa West. Mabati, where I was paying 800 shillings. Would you believe I was evicted after around 3 months because I could not raise 800 shillings? But I never gave up, and this is where a lot of people make mistakes. I didn't give up.
What was that thing that kept you wanting to go on?
I went back in the house and started afresh. And this is what I want to tell the business people out there or the people who want to start business. Business is tough. It can be really tough. But again, when it comes tough, don't run away or don't change, because again, people keep changing. So you'll never be able to make it. Keep on, patience. So I went back, continued doing the cakes in the house, and I opened another place in the market, Kahawa West Market. That's where now I did things that now shook the residents of Kahawa West. So one of the TV station came and did a story about me. And surprisingly, the same week, one of the main newspapers did 3 pages about me because I had revolutionized the world of cakes.
What is it that was so special about those cakes?
I think it's just talent and doing things that no one else is doing. I never went to school for these things. So I was just doing things. I didn't know you could draw on cakes, by the way. I had not even seen in a book. I was just trying, using food color. It worked. I remember I started with things like Tom and Jerry. It became a hit with children. My wedding cakes, instead of doing what everybody was doing, the tire cakes, I started doing pots, malenges, gouaches. Again, it hit. So that's the display I put. Something that people had never seen before. And that's what made me hit. And I'm telling you, after that, the show and the newspaper, corporates started calling me.
And what inspired the idea of the school?
When I came on TV the first time, a lot of mothers who were doing cakes saw me on TV and they wanted to become me. So they came to me in the house for training. I remember the first student was a neighbor, and she came and I trained her. Then she started calling others from my house in Kahawa West. Then eventually, as it grew, they started bringing their children. But this child, it's a career. So they will need, of course, certificates, something, credible. That's how I now started creating the school.
What is the difference between your school and many others? The
difference between our school and others is that we don't ask for grades. Most places they'll tell you you must have a C+, a D+, a E, whatever. I don't ask for grades. What is the qualification? Passion. Right now I have house girls who are working in 5-star hotels. In fact, I have a case of house girls who are paying me 200 shillings because they're earning 3,000 shillings. And some of them I told them for free of charge. And right now they are working in 5-star hotels. I have dropouts who are working in 5-star hotels. Why? Because our education system right now believes in grades. And that is where we are going wrong. There's something I tell people. You can't be a D student in school, but that does not mean that you'll be a D student in life. You can't be an A student in school, but that does not mean you'll be an A student in life. Most cake shops you see in town, the owners are my students. Because I've also developed courses that accommodate busy mothers. We train people how to do cakes with as little as 19,500. We give you a whole career. Because if you do cakes, I'm telling you, profit people make from cakes is so much, it's unbelievable.
What are those challenges that you have faced really?
We have a lot of challenges that you'll face as you grow. Remember, when I was starting this business, I was alone. Then, of course, as it grows, you employ one more person. As it becomes even bigger, you employ many people. So the moment many people come in, you start delegating the jobs. So some of them start now lowering your standard. Like they say, the enemy within is your staffs. If they are, when they start becoming many, they can put you down. Because the moment you don't have customers, you don't have money. Competition is another one.
How do you deal with that?
Remember, I'm also a trainer. I train people. And you know where they open their businesses? In their houses. Hapo, neighbor hapo kwangu. And then their prices are low. But I always beat them. I always beat them by actually keep coming up with new things. Other challenges are like, you'll find some months are very hard. There's no business. And remember, you have expenses. You have like the fixed expenses, including the salaries. Sometimes you're not even able to pay at the end of the month on the dot. But this is what I tell people, just like we said, when the staffs feel that they're part of the family, they feel that sense of belonging. They're able to understand and feel you because they're part of, the wheel that makes that money. Kenyan business people are so heavily taxed. That's another challenge. Because like, for example, you look at my business, I have to put the billboards for your names. That's expensive. Before the new county thing came, all our licenses were doubled. I'm telling you, the government itself, it says it wants to empower the small business people and the common mwananchi, but it's killing its own people by overtaxing because we are surely heavily taxed. So there are quite a number of challenges, but so far, so good. But the challenges are the things that make me wake up every morning.
What would be your one main lesson that you would want to share with the youth?
What I would want to tell them is this: talent. Talent is the key. So discover your talent and use it. And again, I tell people, talent has to be cultivated. Uilimie ndi ili iweze kumea. This is what I'm telling the youth and everybody. Turn your talent into your wealth. Talent is everything. The other thing is passion. If you have passion in what you're doing, it will take you places. Passion, because again, talent without passion, it doesn't work. So just love what it is you're doing, be committed to it, and it's going to work for you. Then never give up.
Daniel, I wish you had more time, but thank you so much
Welcome.
for honoring us, for being on our show. We appreciate your time and your story that will motivate very, very many people. Not only those 1 million, but more than that.
I always say, Catherine, if I'm going to change one life, just one life, it's my pleasure.